It's quite different with my streaming with my laptop. Okay, I think I need to get right. I need to get yeah. Hello everyone. It's great to have you join me tonight. I think it's better this way. Yeah, it's better this way. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I think it's too dark. Just trying to fix my lightning. Okay, yeah, I think it's better this way. Awesome. Okay, okay, I think it's too much light. Okay, yeah, yeah, I think it's better this way. Hello, everyone. It's great to have you join me again tonight. And today it's a different thing entirely. We are taking a course, business administration course, management accounting. It's basically for okay, I'm just trying to set up my okay, I'm just trying to set up my so I don't get distracted. Okay, so it's a course basically for business administration, student of business administration, and okay, just a moment. Okay, yeah, so it's all about management accounting tonight, and it's well, stream promises to be an interesting one. Where we will get to know a lot of things about the course, and it's a very versatile course. So that's that. So let's just wait for other members of the class to join, then then we may proceed. So okay. Okay, waiting for others to join, then we may proceed. I believe we all can hear me loud and clear. Okay, just trying to test my just trying to test my sound. I believe you all can hear me loud and clear. Awesome, awesome. Okay, I think it's loud enough. So we will just have to continue while others will join along the way. Okay, awesome, awesome. So we'll just have to go straight into other things and others will join hopefully before the class ends. Okay, yeah. So just then just move on then. Okay, just trying to fix my material away. Okay, yeah. So I'm just trying to get my material intact. So we are so we can just go ahead with the class. Sorry guys, it's a different view today and it's kind of looking different today. I can understand. I am actually viewing from I'm streaming from my system. All of a sudden just YouTube just told me that I can't stream with my phone, that my phone does not meet up with the requirements. This is the same phone I'm using, not this one, and I really don't like to stream with my system. I prefer stream with my phone. It's for me it's convenient, it's better comparing to streaming with my system. I have to know on my system, that's what the material is. I have to adjust and adjust. So this I'm trying to do. As soon as I'm done adjusting, then we can just start the class straight ahead. I'm trying to set my material now, so you can just move on. Okay, we have someone with us already. Please do well to introduce yourself as you join the class, so you can know where you are actually streaming from and what your name is. So today, after going through the material, I discovered that this course is more of calculation and posting, calculation, and theoretical parts. It's divided into three different parts, and I got to know of the intentions of the tutorial pretty late, and I was even away. So for today, we're just going to be taking the theoretical parts. So in our next class, so we'll be taking the posting and the calculation part of it. So that's how it's going to be tonight. And in the next class, we're going to be solving using the board, using the whiteboard behind me. As you can see, the whiteboard behind me. So subsequently, in the next class, we'll not be using this. Today is just basically for the theoretical part. Next class will be doing the posting and the calculation part of it. So very first question I have here, we have this is a past question we are taking. The past question is in the year 2020. We have about three past questions we'll be taking tonight from 2020, 21, 22. So we have here, write short note on the following: administrative costs, production cost, differential cost, urgent cost, and shutdown costs. So just a very quick one before we go into other things. Now, past question basically is just to cushion what you have read in your material. Past question, using past question does not write disregard the fact that you need to go through your material. Past question is just there to complement what you have read in your material already. So everything we are doing here, everything we are taking here are questions selected from the material, or strategically selected and repurposed, or maybe rephrased in order for you to go through the process of critical thinking, then presenting the solution to it. So now we have the very first question. With this being said, let's take our very first question. And it says, and I think I need to enlarge my material a bit so I can see it clearly. Okay, yeah, it's better this way. Okay, okay, yeah. So we have administrative costs. What is administrative? Okay, we have somebody else with us. Please do well to let us know where you are actually watching from, so we can. I'm trying to be sure the audio is good and we all can. Can we all hear me? Can we all hear me? Is the audio good? Can we all hear me? Just wanted to be sure if we all can hear me, and we can all proceed. We all hear me? Is the audio good enough? Okay, I believe I assume we all can hear me then. So let's just proceed. So we have administrative costs. What do we, when you come across the question administrative costs, the question actually says, write short notes on the following. Write short notes on the following, and we have about 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. We have to write short notes on about 5 of the following, which are administrative costs, production costs, differential costs, and urgent costs, short down costs as well. And this question alone carries about 15 marks. So you can imagine, if you can get all this correctly, you have already 15 marks to yourself. Join with your TMA, you're good to go. So we have the very first one, which is administrative costs. Administrative costs are costs incurred. When we say incurred, cost that is implemented for administrative purposes. Now, costs incurred for administration are known as administrative costs. The costs incurred for administration are known as administrative costs, short and precise. For example, these costs are office salaries, printing, and stationaries, office telephone, office rent, stationaries, office telephone, office rent. Administrative costs are the costs incurred for administration purposes. So we have production costs. What do we understand by the word production costs? Production costs, all costs incurred for production of goods and goods are known as production costs. These are very precise, straightforward, and without much grammar. So we have administrative costs as costs incurred for administration purposes, just like production costs are costs incurred for production purposes. And we have differential costs. Differential costs are also known as incremental costs. Incremental cost. Now, this cost is different. This is different in total cost that will arise from the selection of one alternative to the other. This cost is said to be an incremental cost, and it is referred to as a cost that will arise from the selection of one alternative to the other. So we have urgent costs. Now, urgent costs are those costs which must be incurred in order to continue operations of the firm. For example, cost of material. These are costs that must be incurred to ensure continuity of an organization. Those are urgent costs. So we have shut down costs. Now, these costs are the costs which are incurred if the operations were to close down, and they will disappear if the operations are continued. Example of these costs are costs of sheltering the plant, machinery, and construction of sheds for storing exposed property. Now, computation of this shutdown cost is extremely important for taking decision on continuing or shutting down level of activity. Now, shutdown costs, according from just like the way the name sounds, shut down. These are the costs, that is incurred in the operations where to close down and they are disappear of the operation to be continued. Now, basically, this simply means that this operations where these costs are incurred, if the operations were to close down, if they will disappear, if the operation are continued. I would say example of this is the cost of sheltering plants, meaning that when the operation shut down, this cost is incurred for the protection of utilities. Now, examples of these costs are sheltering the plant, machinery construction of shed for storing exposed property. Shutdown costs, cost incurred if the operations were to close down. Now we have that as that. So we've just defined five different types of costs, and we move to the next question. So just as it is precise, short, pen and paper exam is one of the easiest exams to pass, because you have to use your discretion. You are given the opportunity to use your discretion, and and you will not be marked out for that, definitely. Now we have the next question, which says define and discuss lease financing and its type. What do you understand by lease financing? Lease is spelled L-E-A-S-E. Lease financing. Now, lease financing is an important source of long-term funds. lease financing is an important source for long-term funds. Now, it is an arrangement between two parties. Before there can be a lease of financing, it has to be between two parties, and it's usually an arrangement most time between two parties. Now, the lessor, these two parties are referred to as, in between these two parties, we have two persons. Excuse me, and these two persons, both of them has the role they play. We have the lessor and we have the lessee. The lessor is spelled Lessor, and the lessee is spelled Lessee. The lessor and the lessee. Now, who is the lessee? Who is the lessor? We'll get to know now. The lessor owns a capital asset, but allows the lessee to use it. So the person who owns the money is now the lessor. The lessor then allows the lessee to use the money for a specific period. It is for a specific period. So we have that as lease financing. So we have operating lease. Just like we have lease financing, we have what we call operating lease. An operating lease is a rental agreement between the lessor and the less privileged. I beg your pardon. Operating lease is a rental agreement. Underline the word rental. A rental agreement between the lessor and the lessee, whereby the lessor supplies equipment to the lessee. Now, the lessor is responsible for servicing and maintaining the leased equipment. The period of the lease is fairly short, less than the economic life of the asset, so that at the end of the lease agreement, the lessor can either, okay, that I think that was taken off. So we'll get the point that this operating lease is more of formal businesses, whereby there has to be a lessee and a lessor, whereby a lessee exchange value and lessor gets it. A lessor exchange value, give value, and a lessee gets it in return. So we have that as that. So we have what we call finance lease. Now, to take that, a finance lease is a lease agreement between the user of the leased asset and the lessee and a provider of finance, who is the lessor, which is the most all of the assets expected useful life. Now, there are important characteristics of I think we have. So let me explain this again so we can get it well. So now we've gotten the difference between the lessee and the operating lease. There are two different, and we're able to talk about the lessee and the lease financing, and we have been able to talk about operating lease. Where we say operating lease, operating lease is said to be the lessor, is represented by the lessor supplies the equipment to the lessee. Now, the lessor is responsible for servicing and maintaining the leased equipment. So we have that. So we have what we call finance. We have what we call finance lease. Finance lease is said to be a financial lease, where the agreement between the user of the lease, which is the owner of the assets, and provided for finance. Okay, I think I think that finance lease now. Finance lease is said to be a lease agreement between two parties, the lessee and the lessor, that all or of the asset is expected to be useful to the lessee. I don't know if you get that. Now, talking about important characteristics of finance lease. Talking about the important characteristics of finance lease, we have the lessee is responsible for the keep up, servicing, and maintenance of the assets. Now, the lessor is not involved in this. That's one of the characteristics, that the lessee is responsible for taking care of the assets, and the lessor is not responsible for it. Okay, so we have the lease has a primary period. There's always a period attached to it. Whatever it is that is being leased, we're talking about finance now, it has a period. It has a period. Now, it says that it is usual at the end of primary lease period to allow the lessee continue to lease, to allow the lessee continue to lease their assets for an indefinite second period in return for a very new nominal rent. So basically, it's just talking about here that the payment during the primary good, pay for the full cost of the asset as well as providing less. That's what the payee does, unlike the lessee. So we have that. So we have what we call good performance measure. Good performance measure. When we talk about good performance measure of characteristics, okay, I think I need to quickly adjust this. Excuse me. I think I missed something here. So I'm trying to. So it can, okay. I think that was, I think the material, that's one of the things why I said I really don't enjoy using my system to stream. I have a lot of materials I have open here. So I need to check which is which, because this question, I think something was omitted. So I need to just quickly check the material from where the section question was said to know, okay, what was missing. I'm not sure it's from this material. So let me just quickly check the next material. Then we can move on quickly. Okay. I think I have a question now. Characteristics of a good performance measure. What are the characteristics of a good performance measure? So we have characteristics of a good performance measure. We have good performance measure will relate to the goal of the organization. 1, it will balance long-term and short-term concern. 2, it reflects management of key action and activity. 3, it will affect actions of manager and employee. 4, readily understood by employees. Readily understood by employees. Okay. The use, okay, and reward manager and employees. So to be used to evaluate and reward managers and employees. And we have be used consistently and consistently and regularly. So those are the good characteristics of good performance. Characteristics of good performance. So we have that as that. So we have the next question, which says here, define what you understand by the word standard costing. And as we have here, standard costing, is a predetermined cost, a predetermined cost relating to material, labor, and overhead. This cost is related to material, labor, and overhead. Now, they are predetermined, they are worked out scientific. Now, they are worked out on scientific basis by conducting technical analysis, and are they are computed for all elements of cost, such as marginal labor. So now, basically, standard costing, is a predetermined cost. Let's add that at the back of our mind. It's a predetermined costs first thing foremost. Now, this predetermined costs, uh, has to do with material, labor, and overhead. It is a predetermined cost that has to do with material, labor, and overhead. If you are okay with that definition, fine. But if you're not okay, if you want to go far, then you can say, though they are presented, they are worked on scientifically or scientific by basis, on scientific basis, in order to consume, in order to conduct statistical analysis. So we have that standard costing. That's that about. Now, cost technique has different types. It's another question. Cost technique has different types. What are the advantages of cost techniques? Definitely has different styles. So let's start from the marginal costing. Okay, so we have the marginal costing. It has to do with the technique based on assumption that total cost of production can be divided into fixed and variable. Now, this technique is based on the assumption that the total cost of production can be divided into fixed and variable. Exactly. This technique is based on the assumption that total cost of production can be divided into fixed and variable costs. So we have the question, the number 2 of this same question. We have to divide different like 5. So we have what we call, okay, we have to talk about 3 actually, because we have just 3 of them. So we have, after we've talked about the marginal, we're talking about the standard costing. Now, standard costing are costs that predetermine costs relating to material. Predetermined costs relating to material, labor, and overheads. That is what standard costing is. Now we have budget and budgetary control. Now, budget is, this is one of the techniques as well. Budget is defined as a quantitative and or a monetary statement prepared prior to defined period of time. Budget and budgeting. Budget and budgetary cost now, one of the technique, is said to be a quantitative or a monetary statement. It's a monetary statement, a quantitative, that there's a lot of quantity of items in it. Excuse me. A quantitative or a monetary statement. Why is this statement made? It said it is to prepare prior to the defined period of time. So that means this budget now can be a document, can be anything. The content on the budget, on the document, is that it is talking about how some things can be achieved and what are the limits. So we have that on that, and that is it. So we've been able to treat about 7 questions in total, and I believe we all have learned 18 or 2 tonight. I am so exhausted, and I still have a class by 11, and by 10, which I am hopeful that I can actually catch up because I feel so exhausted right now. But so thank you very much, guys. If you need this past question that we just used, just let me know. I can always forward it to you, so you can as well have it. So in our subsequent class, we'll be using the whiteboard and we'll be doing some calculation. And the turn up tonight is not impressive actually. Mr. Mohammed is just Mr. Mohammed just dropped a message. Good evening, Mr. Mohammed. It's great to have you. Although you came a bit you came late. We actually done with class. It's just the theoretical part today, nothing much. So tomorrow, not tomorrow, but I'll be at work tomorrow. So in the next class, we'll be taking more of calculation and of posting. Thank you very much. Do also invite others. Let the number get to like 10 or 15 or 20 so that the class can be more interesting. You can have a lot of activities and questions. Thank you very much. I look forward to see you in subsequent tutorial. Bye.